The one big white bag because that's dookie weed. You should bring that hash out that you got. You were like, did you know we have this? Or was that a dream? That wasn't a dream? That was reality? We have fucking more hash? Thank God! What an absolute win! Sup, America? Sup, America? We got the Chinatown background, and I got a chocolate bottle of liquor. Look at that. It's just chocolate. Look, I don't even know what's in this. Smells strong, whatever it is. We'll find out because I mukbang this for you. Fantastico. Yes, chocolate liquors. My Uncle David used to like these. He was in Korea. Shot a bunch of Chinese. Ain't that a bitch? Now, Chosin Reservoir. You know how it is. See how this tastes. That's a kick in the dick. Man. That is some strong liquor. Oh, yeah, thank you, baby. Got that bag of weed. See what we're doing here. It doesn't just tear off. Ooh, thank you, honey. A little bit of hash. Ooh. Sorry about that. We've got some news. Oh, there it is. We've got some news to talk about. We've got some weather to talk about. We've got sports at 6 with Randy. And we've got your mother being a prostitute with Submarine. And so that's what we're going to be doing here. It's going to be a fantastic time. It's going to be loquacious. It's going to be hellacious. It's going to be a TikTok. Don't stop. Lollipop. Hallelujah. Ooh wee. What up with that? What up with that? No? He said, she said, what up with that? What up with that? Yes. So yeah, we have some news to talk about as I break up this joint here talking to you. It's going to be a fantastic situation. As you know, what's up, Proud Boy? What's up, Kelly? As you know, over on TikTok, I was just talking, but now we can talk more about Muslims later. Like I said the other day when I was on here, I don't believe your religion. I think you're a bunch of fucking... Why do you want to kill everybody? What the fuck? In my opinion, that's all I'm saying. Let's talk about the news first before we get into all that esoteric horse shit, shall we? As I'm breaking up this weed looking directly at you. Or we can talk about deporting immigrants, whatever you want to go, whichever position you feel. Now, obviously, we've got a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So you need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husbands because they raping everybody out here. You don't have to come and confess. We looking for you. We gonna find you so you can run and tell that. Homeboy, homeboy. All right, so let's read the news as I'm rolling this. Don't know what to tell you. As you know, in Washington, D.C., there was some fuckbag that came out. Some guy from Afghanistan that came over here on our good graces to the United States, lived in Bellingham, Washington as a resettled friend of America refugee, and then he shot some National Guard members. They've been shot in the head. Not sure if they're gonna live. Bunch of fucking dipshittery going on with that. He should have never been in the country, but under Joe Biden and his misguided naivety, if you want to call it that at the very least, or purposely done to try to pad voter registrations, in my opinion, That's what it's looking like, in my opinion. Nevertheless, this pile of shit came around a corner. His name is Ramallah something or other, 29 years old. What's up, Built in America? And he shot those National Guardsmen in the head. Oh, man, that is some good-looking hash. Look at that. There it is right there. And so that pisses a lot of people off. It should, because those National Guardsmen were doing nothing wrong but what their duty was telling them. Thank you. Who was it? Shells. Thank you, Shells. And yet the 2 National Guards members were shot and apparently, I'm assuming, dead. What's up, Shells? What's up, Billy? I'm assuming those National Guardsmen are dead. I'm hearing conflicting reports on whether they're dead or whether they are still in critical condition. Given the fact that on X I saw one that was shot in the head and the other one that was laying also shot in the head. I saw both of them. I'm going to venture to say that they're already dead. Thank you, Shells, for being here. Now, that is not what I wanted to hear, nor did I expect anything like that. I actually expected it to be a fucking Democrat, the way they've been acting with killing Charlie Kirk and all that shit. I just expected it was going to be a Democrat that shot these guys. I was actually taken back for a moment of the fact that this was another terrorist from the Arab world, which I haven't actually seen in the United States, not as much as normal for the last several years. So this was absolutely fascinating. Thank you, Billy. Because typically speaking, over the last couple of years, we have seen nothing but liberal agitators, Antifa dipshits, BLM terrorists, the whole 9 yards. And now this particular time, we're seeing an Afghan national. So it's been a while since we've had to keep our head on a swivel for Muslims. Thank you, Shells. That's generally in the European world where they're knifing people. But it looks like that bullshit is rearing its ugly head. Oh, that smells good. Once again, here in the United States. And everybody, if you're armed or whatever it is. What's up, DJ Slayer? Had to do something. Oh, you're good. What's up, America? And I'm worried this is going to permeate. My mom always said just one day it could be like a cattle call and they all fucking rise up and start shooting people. I don't know if that's the case. A lot of military-age men here in the United States came from illegal countries, if you want to call it that. So I'm a little perturbed on that fact that maybe it could happen. Maybe they could rise up. Maybe they could all kill everybody. I highly doubt it. And it's not the people, it's the radicalization of their religion. Let's be very clear. It's the radicalization of their religion. Now, you can say that Christians, thank you, Keith. You can say that all religions have this type of thing. That's not correct, actually. Some religions, supposedly modern Christianity, Sikhism, stuff like that, is supposed to be very peaceful religions. Islam, in my opinion, has never been a peaceful religion. Nor do I respect Islam whatsoever. Here you go, baby. So that's my thoughts on that. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. It's not racist to not want to hold your beliefs close to me. I have a different belief system. I'm a Western European. How to change the name. Yeah, I'm still learning this thing, my friend. I'm still a Western European Christian. That's what I do. Now, do I fuck up? Yeah, of course I do, and all this other stuff. But I'm not going to subscribe to Islam. And I'll never subscribe to Islam. And it's not that I have anything personal against people that are Islamic. Absolutely not. I just think your belief system is a fucking lie. That's all. I'm not trying to be offensive. I just believe your belief system is full of shit. Kind of like Jehovah's Witness. That's stupid. It literally says in the next verse of the Bible with Jehovah's Witness that what they believe is incorrect. So it's the same with Islam for me. I don't believe your religion's correct. I may be wrong. I highly doubt that I'm wrong, given the guy that authored Mountains. Oh, I don't know, Ocean, actually. The guy that authored the Quran halfway through left and said it was bullshit. Looking at dried dead corpses, each one a brand ambassador of the perennial mourning clan. Well, it depends. If you want to really get into it, we can talk about the Spartan rebellion with the crosses up the Appian Way. That's always a fun topic. Or you could talk about the Forest of the Dead with Vlad the Impaler out there in Romania, which is Transylvania, the mountains up there. Fantastic shit. Anyway, let's continue. DC shooting. This is the news. We'll go over the news, then we'll talk about all that esoteric bullshit. DC shooting sparks White House lockdown down. As you know, 2 National Guard members were shot in an apparent ambush near the White House at 2:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just blocks from the executive mansion of the White House. The suspect, identified as Afghan national Ramallah, whatever the fuck, I don't have his name in front of me right now, is in custody after being wounded in an exchange. 3 victims were hospitalized, including the guardsman. President Trump called it a targeted attack. Obviously it was. And ordered an additional 500 National Guard troops to D.C. They should be armed. Escalating tensions amid his ongoing federal troop deployment in cities. The FBI and the Attorney General urged prayers, while critics tie it to Trump's public safety emergency rhetoric. So Democrats are blaming Trump that an Arab or that an Afghan individual shot them to death. Pennsylvania, damn, yeah, it's really windy where I'm at. I'm in Indiana. It's not snowy. Is it snowing? But it's windy as fuck here. And cold as fuck. It's very cold here. So Democrats are blaming Donald Trump, saying that if they didn't have National Guard soldiers on the streets, they wouldn't be shot. That's what Democrats are saying. Republicans are saying it's Islamic terrorism and these people are stupid. And that's what it is. So let me know in the chat what you believe. I obviously believe it's Islam once again, rearing its ugly head because I'm basically Salman Rushdie. Well, as a white guy. Tax and stimulus buzz. Senator Jim Justice, that's a nice name, agrees to pay millions in overdue federal taxes, highlighting GOP fiscal scrutiny. The IRS advances new credits from the One Big Beautiful Bill, including tip deductions for workers under Trump's no tax on tips bullshit. Fact checkers debunked viral rumors of $2,000 November stimulus checks because obviously that's not happening, which is unfortunate because we need that fucking money from Trump because we're all poor. Other headlines: Florida plans to use confiscated Chinese drones for U.S. military target practice. Virginia coach faces child porn charges. And the 2025 Atlanta hurricane season ends without U.S. landfall for the first time in 12 years. Black Friday deals kick off early on Amazon as it's revealed that Black Friday sales are sometimes 10% more expensive. So there's that. Funsies. Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 0.4%. Unemployment rate steady at 4.1%. Gas prices on average throughout the United States are $3.15 a gallon. Increase of 2 cents, and consumer confidence is down by 2%. Hold on a second. I'm going to change my background. Give me 10 seconds because I want to. Is that bad? We got to get more New York pictures, like newer ones. You know what I mean? Is it paused? Is that what it says?
No.
Really? So it does still show me? All right, let's see if that works. There we go. There's Radio City Music Hall. Okay. News in Europe. EU waste recycling lags amid budget approval. Ukraine, who gives a fuck about that? Ukraine peace push gains steam. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff's leaked call with Russian aide Yuri Yushakov revealed coaching on faltering Trump to secure concessions. Framing talks as optimistic for Putin. Trump called the 28-point plan fine-tuned and very close, dispatching Witkoff, possibly Jared Kushner, to Moscow next week. Ukraine agreed to cap its military at 800,000 men. Zelensky's eyes a D.C. visit by the month's end. Russia calls it premature, but awaits details. Europe reaffirms support to Ukraine through 2026, launching a, quote, democracy shield. Who fuck democracy shield? Fuck democracy shield. You know what I'm saying? EU budget and environment. Parliament approved $193 billion budget. Blah, 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 blah. Flood ravages Indonesia and Malaysia. Japan and China are fighting with each other, escalating tensions over Taiwan. And regional politics in Bangladesh. And, of course, Nepal boosts environmental business. What? Hell yes, a pumpkin pie. I've never seen that. Thank you for the pumpkin pie, Kelly. That is nice. Nikkei in Japan is up 0.7%. The Topics is up 0.7%. And Chinese markets are up slightly. Donald Trump news states Ukraine diplomatic drama. Trump hailed as tremendous progress on peace, but leaked Witkoff call showed U.S. Tips for Putin to woo him. So we're basically trying to suck his dick. So there you go. Domestic pushback, vague on health care, won't extend Obamacare credits, delayed release of any type of information on the economy. Thank you, Billy Mead. Until about the middle of the beginning of 2026. And FBI probes Democrat warning troops against illegal orders as possible sedition charges coming against a senator and possible congressman coming up here in the next couple of days, weeks, or months. No news if that's actually going to stick. So, in military news throughout the world, U.S. deployments escalate post-D.C. shooting. 500 guardsmen set to flood the streets of D.C. FBI eyes Democrats' anti-illegal orders video for possible court-martials and or jailing. Thank you for the gifts, my friends. Florida tests Chinese drones. NATO capabilities severely limited in Ukraine, per Army Secretary Driscoll, saying that EU is kind of shitty and impotent. Taiwan's $40 billion for the U.S. aims to hit 3.3% GDP. Japan ties Taiwan's support to renaturalization. Thank you, Shells. Thank you, my friend. Romania deploys anti-drone system. And the South China Sea, China rams a Philippine ship. So China rams a ship in the Philippines. Jesus Christ, in the South China Sea as tensions escalate there. Israel warns of Lebanon force if Hezbollah is not disarmed by the end of the year. Offers Rafah Hamas fighters surrender option, and Iran launches crackdown post-U.S. strikes. Sanctions coming up against companies for using Western gear. 2 EU nations buy German underwater drones versus Russia's threat. And Pakistan-Afghan border tensions rise once again. Oh, that's Pakistan-Afghan, not India. So, global military spending, the United States is spending 3.5% of GDP. Taiwan is spending 3.3%. Russia spending 6.2%. And Israel spending 5.1%. That's just Guard Urban Ops is 3.5%. And it looks like detailed peace plans with Ukraine are on the way, but no news yet. No news on a $2,000 stimulus check that's supposed to be coming to American citizens. What's up, America? Keith, you go. What's up, Keith? There we go. GPS jamming technology descends over the Caribbean as the United States and Russia have been jamming each other in the Caribbean, as Russia has a general that is in Venezuela leading several hundred soldiers as potential advisors to the Venezuelan military if the United States decides to attack. Beleaguered Speaker Mike Johnson now says that he's overwhelmed by the duties of his office and he's in a triage every day. Some people say that he may actually step down, but there's no full word on that. So we'll find out what happens with Speaker Johnson. Donald Trump shows signs of fatigue as he's taking shorter days, not spending as much time in the public eye either. And Trump wants a bigger White House ballroom. His architects disagree. Whatever's clever on that. 470 people have been targeted by the Trump administration for retribution as of now and counting, with more to come. As you know, two big ones, Comey and Letitia James, were let off the hook for now. And Democrats' chances of flipping seats, Republican seats in Tennessee, are now growing as Tennessee is preparing to start turning blue for the first time ever. But not all the way, just a couple of seats. Vladimir Putin obviously is happy with the movement. What's wrong? Oh. And Pope Leo surprises ravers by blessing a crowd during a DJ set. I think that is incredibly horrifying to have the Pope show up at a rave and bless people, because at a rave people are doing shit tons of drugs, and that's the hotbed of Satan. Now, and don't give me that. I've been to raves. I know. Here's the video of it. I understand it actually might be good to try to turn people Christian. At the same time, Pope Leo, to me, I don't know. So far, nothing good from him. He seems like he's just kind of a pass-through. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Caroline Leavitt's family member, the press secretary, was detained and arrested by ICE. Story goes, woman with family connections to White House press secretary is arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Revere, Massachusetts. A woman with family connections to the White House press secretary has been arrested by ICE in Revere, Massachusetts. The woman, Bruna Ferreira, has an 11-year-old son with Michael Leavitt, Caroline Leavitt's brother, who's the press secretary. She migrated with her family to the United States from Brazil as a child and is currently in custody at an ICE facility in Louisiana. Okay, so why, if she was migrated here as a child, why the fuck is she arrested then? That sounds like the dumbest shit ever. So, if you were a child when you came to the United States, like, I don't understand, like, why we're doing that. Like, we should take out the illegals, but that's not really an illegal that needs to be taken out of the country. That's an illegal that's not really doing anything bad. So that's fucked up there. Anyway, Michael Leavitt released a statement Tuesday saying that his only concern has always been the safety, well-being, and privacy of his son. So I guess he doesn't give a fuck about his wife? Damn. Anyway, in a conversation with WCVB-TV, sister station WMUR-TV, Michael Leavitt, a New Hampshire resident, said that his son lives with him and his wife full-time but that Ferreira has maintained a relationship with her son. Does that sound weird to you? Thank you. Michael Levitt told WMUR that they've always tried to maintain a relationship with Ferreira. He said their son has not spoken to Ferreira since she was detained by ICE several weeks ago. What's up, my friend? What's up, America? Tom Pomerleau, an attorney who represents Ferreira, said she came to the U.S. as a DACA of the Deferred Action or Childhood Arrivals, an Obama-era program that shielded immigrants brought into the country from deportation. She is in the process of actually getting her residency, and she was abruptly arrested and taken from her young child the night right before Thanksgiving. Yes, that's stupid. That's fucking stupid. All that right there is fucking stupid. She shouldn't have been arrested. She's getting her residency. So you're going to arrest her. That's a waste of fucking resources and dumb as shit. No shit, Shells. So I'm all for getting rid of illegal aliens, but if she's getting her residency, then that doesn't count. These people are stupid. Whatever, though. Brutal immigration raids are just getting worse, and people are now starting to self-deport out of the United States. And an autistic teenager was just released from custody after 50 days following a family's desperate search as they were arrested by ICE, and he doesn't know why. And commercials are coming up encouraging ICE agents to walk away. Quentin Tarantino recalls laughing through Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. Why? It was a huge movie. And Quentin Tarantino says, I started getting turned on by the beating. Come on, Quentin Tarantino. You're better than that. Of course, you are a eccentric individual, so that's what happens. By the way, don't forget to gift and join the membership, and also thumbs up and all that other shit, and heart if you can. Foreign tourists are now paying $100 America First fee to get into national parks. So we're really doing that? And they have flying billboards over California, honey. Look. They're flying a billboard over... Yeah, it's stupid as fuck. $100, like, I'm not a big fan. What's up, BG? I'm not a big fan of charging people to get into national parks. I never really have been. I think that's fucking dumb as shit, so whatever. Constantly checking your phone fucks with your brain, duh. Radical new theory of consciousness explains what happens when you die. And lightning detected on Mars for the first time, obviously, duh. So physicists propose radical new theory of consciousness, and it could finally explain what happens when you die. A physicist has proposed a radical new theory. Consciousness does not emerge from the human brain. Instead, she claims it exists as a fundamental field, a building block of the universe. If this is correct, mysterious phenomenon such as telepathy, near-death experiences, and even life after death could be explained by science, finally. According to Professor Strom's theory, consciousness does not end when we die. Duh. Instead, when a person passes away, their consciousness returns to the background field. Speaking to the Daily Mail, Professor Strom explained the possibility that consciousness is fundamental and has been underexplored, but that has changed rapidly. We are reaching a point where asking deeper questions about consciousness is not philosophy or on the margins, it's a scientific necessity. According to a more traditional theory of quantum physics, particles and energy all emerge from vibrations in a fundamental field, like how waves emerge from vibrations in water. Professor Strom now claimed that this fundamental field might be consciousness itself. If this is true, there would be radical consequences for our view of reality. Perhaps most shockingly, if this theory is correct, the separation of our individual consciousness is simply an illusion. Professor Strom told the Daily Mail in the model, individual consciousness is understood as a localized excitation or configuration within a universal consciousness field, much like a wave on the surface of the ocean. A wave has a form that is temporary, but the water that carries it does not vanish when the waves subside. But hold on, I'm waiting on this joint to dry. By the way, thumbs up if you can. We're almost at 30. The fundamental substrate of awareness does not begin or end with the body, just as the ocean does not begin or end with the appearance of a single wave, says Professor Strom. It also means that many phenomena dismissed as pseudoscience could be part of the scientific model and deserve renewed, rigorous scientific testing. For example, during near-death experiences, many people report having visions of religious figures, lost loved ones, or even premonitions of future events. Hell yeah, thank you. If individual awareness is not generated only by the brain, but an expression of a deeper field, as my model suggests, then moments when the brain is impaired could allow atypical access to that underlying field. Likewise, this model suggests that psychic abilities such as telepathy may not only be real but scientifically feasible. Since all individual consciousnesses are part of the same field, information can be transmitted between points that are apparently separated by space or even time. Thank you, BG. Hell yes. Sorry, I was flopping it around. This means individuals who are specifically gifted or in altered states of consciousness may be able to read minds, see visions, or distant events. Yes, we are going to my wife's family tomorrow. This would explain why telepathy-like phenomenon appears across cultures and throughout history, even though empirical evidence is so far controversial and not conclusive, says Professor Strom. In her theory, if it's true, the brain states of those in deep meditation or emotional attunement should show evidence of synchronizing with other people's brain activity. The evidence should show up on brain scans, allowing scientists to test whether Strom's theory is correct. The test of the major religions, such as the Bible, the Quran, and the Rig Vedas, often describe as interconnected consciousness. Those who wrote them used metaphorical language to express insight about the nature of reality. Early quantum physics, in turn, arrived at similar ideas using scientific methods. Now it is time for hardcore science, that is modern natural science, to seriously begin exploring this. What do people see when they die? According to this, in recent studies, scientists interviewed 48 people who had near-death experiences, which I've had one before, and I saw horrible shit, and asked what they saw in their final moments. So Jesus was one figure. There were stone stairs on the left and in front of me, and Jesus towards the top wearing a white robe. And like a babe in the mother's arms, light became light. Jesus at my right, bearded, robed, there to show me the way out. Then you have others saying that God exists as a near-death experience. God appeared as a great light in the distance, and God's force entered in the front of me towards the right. I had the feeling of wanting to lift my head up, but could not or felt that I shouldn't. So thank you for the party hat, by the way. Then you have gardens, the most beautiful flowers I've ever seen, and another person with an NDE said the garden was huge with rolling hills, tall grass, very vivid, people walking and talking, children playing, animals roaming. What's up? Hell yeah. What's up, America? Again, what's the question? I like that one because I like gardens. Then another one said they saw loved ones. I saw my Aunt Elizabeth and Lenny's as they were when they were younger women. I only knew them when they were 60 or 70 years old. Then I felt guided, or I knew my deceased grandmother was guiding me without words. And my infant son was beaming with love and bliss. He was shining in the light as he floated off into it. Then there's a person that says they saw the matrix. It was like a matrix with many grid points all connecting to each other over multiple dimensions. Thank you, Kelly. Hell yes, that's very cool. I've never seen that. I haven't seen most of these on here. I felt that I entered the matrix. I would be able to travel anywhere in the entire universe simply by thinking about it. Wonder if why it's all, I don't know. Well, mine is in here too. So we also have beings. I was able to grasp a glimpse of what appeared to be angels, white wings, the feathers incredibly detailed, layered onto one another. Face was like that of a Greek god, symmetrical and polished, with hair like a Greek statue. And I could see his face, but it was blurred. I could hear him talk in my mind telepathically. And then here's mine right here, the black hole. A black hole looks black from afar. The light was so bright, it was hard to see all colors. There were still there. I didn't see any colors. Then we have people that had visions of the future. A nurse inside the operating theater behind the doctor at my right-hand side, and one nurse breaking the news of my death to my family. And then I encountered humans as a group of people, and I saw past, present, and future at the same time. Then we had tunnels, loud buzzing and vibrating sensation, and visions stared into tunnels enveloping with an organic tunnel that was completely black but had iridescent qualities. That's what I saw. And the walls seemed to be organic and had colors of greens and browns, but also had tones of veins that appeared to open wider as I moved to the end of the tunnel. I'm not going to say it was organic, but I guess mine was unique. I'm going to be obliterated in hell. Then we had strange light. I was able... Thank you, BG. Yeah, look at that. Who doesn't love a pumpkin pie? I was at the center of an immense bubble of light. Saw no edges on the bubble develop and envelop me completely. I could say it was part of this light. It was the most beautiful I had ever seen. And it was the perfect temperature. Thank you, Nana. And there was a growing light at the point when I was encompassed. And somebody saw an escalator in a pure black space, floating upward through pitch blackness, 45-degree constant motion. I guess mine would be a mix of the escalator and tunnel. I want to see nice gardens and shit. I don't want to go to fucking hell. Huh. Well, that sucks. Thank you, Nana. Does that mean I'm poised to go to hell? Am I going to hell? It's a bit much, don't you think? Am I going to hell? That's right. Oh, Machiavelli. Yeah, everybody loves Machiavelli in Lodge. I've read Machiavelli before, of course. He was a fucking nihilist, wasn't he? Jesus Christ. Him and Nietzsche should have a fucking field day together. Anyway, J.D. Vance does not like Turkey taking bus driver applications. And RFK Jr. Is on an airplane with his shoes off, walking around barefoot. I know. America is saying that the flying was a very political... Yes, he was. But he also basically said, like, everybody was a fuck that's trying to take advantage of you and only trust very few people because all of them will just ditch you at the very first fucking sign of anything because they just want to take advantage of you. Thank you, my friend. And I think that that's true in some cases, but I think there is a humanity that takes hold of some people. So I think he was like, I think he had a bad childhood. So did Nietzsche. Wasn't his dad a Lutheran minister or some bullshit like that? Some weird ass shit. Anyway, I digress. Scott Besant says if inflation is too high, you did okay, what was the question? Sorry, I was too Repeat your question, sir. Hawaii pricing out middle-class tourists. Hawaii is now so expensive to visit that only the wealthy are visiting it. That sucks dick. Rich people are spending, everybody else is cutting corners. Please go back and look. Okay, hang on a second. Jesus drank during the Passover, the wedding of Canaan, and the Last Supper. Probably did, yes. Answer my question. I had a talk with my neighbor. Jesus didn't drink wine. He wasn't a drunkard. Yeah, he probably did drink wine, but back in the day, the wine that they drank at Canaan was more of a, it was kind of more of like a very lightly fermented juice almost. Thank you, my friend. So like back in the day, I will say this though. So yes, he did. Why would Jesus create wine and not partake? But I'm sure he wasn't shit-faced. That's the difference. But you do know that back in the day they used cannabis in the incense that they used at the temples in the Holy of Holy places, as well as several other types of herbs and things like that. But marijuana or cannabis was part of that. Once again, though, it wasn't the strong shit like we see now. So if you went back, yeah, why wouldn't Jesus permit it? You just can't do anything as a drunkard. See, that's the whole thing. It's not about you're not allowed to do things. Like you're allowed to have wine. You're allowed to have certain things. It only becomes a problem when it's a god or an idol or you're shit-faced all the time. Like God doesn't want you going around, like Jesus doesn't want you going around drinking a bottle of fucking sherry and then walking around shit-faced all day. Right? Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you didn't drink. Yeah, everybody. The thing is back in the day, like, okay, so you know in France, right? Like, people that are in France, you say, well, younger people have always drank in France. And historically speaking, you'll see people that are like 14 drinking wine in France over people now. You say, well, the parents are just horrible, blah, blah, blah. Well, historically, the water was so impure. Can I see your hand sanitizer? Historically speaking, the water was so impure in some countries that drinking beer or wine purified the water so you wouldn't get sick. You know what I'm saying? So if you drink a glass of wine in France, it would actually be better for you than drinking the water, which may in the 16, 17, 1500s, 1800s give you severe dysentery and you shit yourself to death. Oh. And you're talking about a society that was before basic sanitation when they used to just shit in a chamber pot and throw it out the window on the street. So, yeah, people had a very good reason for wine is actually good for you. Yes, that's true. But you can't be a drunkard. That's the thing. So, like, for instance, there's this notion that sobriety is just a great thing. Like, I don't know who the fuck sold that to people. Like, you don't want your population on fentanyl and coke and shit like that. You don't want everybody on acid all day, right? But frankly speaking, yeah, your neighbor's an idiot, apparently. He must be a Jehovah's Witness or something. Like when they say you don't want to have revelry. Like, have you ever been to a rave, like a drug party at a rave? You ever been to one of those? I've been to that's revelry. Or like worshiping a concert idol and getting fucked up and having sex with them. That's all fuck. They don't like, during the time the Bible was written, there were like cult sex prostitutes and shit like that, right? And so there was like, in the Roman Empire, there was like gay orgies and shit with kids. And so like they were like saying, don't do that shit. Like, don't have a fucking sex orgy with a bunch of people. Don't try to fuck a kid. Don't cheat on your partners. Don't fuck 12 guys. I mean, it's like, you know, there was a lot of weird shit. The Roman Empire was quite pompous and into its own shit. What's up, America? How you doing? And so, When Jesus was talking about shit, and you're like, oh, the ancient world, they never did that. It's like, oh, yes, they did. Like Tactus, or not, oh, what is it? Not Tactus. Nero, fucking Caligula, a lot of these people, they were all, I prayed for my neighbor last night. Still thinks I'm speaking false doctrine. No, that's what I always said, and I've been saying that for years. Why would Jesus make wine at Canaan and not partake in it? Jesus took the cup after supper, and when he had given thanks, he drank it and said, take and drink. This is my blood, which is shed for you. So didn't Jesus literally, isn't there a verse saying, I drank the cup of wine and then fucking passed it to everybody as a remembrance of me going to be executed coming up here, and I'm the premonition of this, and every time you drink and eat it. So it's like, oh, he never drank wine. I'm like, the fuck you people talking about? Of course he did. He just didn't get shit-faced. It was a ceremonial thing. Did Jesus drink water? I don't know. They had bladders full of water back then too. And another thing, it was quite expensive. That's another thing. That's quite expensive. You know what I mean? Wine wasn't just cheap. Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there, like they say, don't dance, don't sing, because Jesus doesn't like it. As Jesus says, to make a joyful noise. It's like, it's so stupid. And that's some of those people that go back to like Quakers and Shakers, because they say that if you're like in revelry dancing, you're going to have like open sex with people, right? And the one thing is you're supposed to take a partner to have kids. You're not supposed to fuck everybody or cheat on your partner. That's basically what it's saying. Back in the day, like Solomon had 70 wives or whatever. Well, how the fuck does that work out? I don't know. King David got in trouble because he fucking had Bathsheba's husband killed, and he fucked her because he wanted her. And so he got in trouble for that. That's all, whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I smoke my weed. See, I don't drink. I smoke weed. So, is that pharmakia? I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope I don't get to go to hell the next time I die. You know what I'm saying? I hope that my weed smoking is a vice that's tolerable. Because I don't believe I'm too fucked up. No matter how much concentrate I smoke, I barely... Hell yeah, my friend, I barely get high anymore. So, what's up, Machiavelli? Here you go, baby. Oh, come on. That's a cigarette, and that sucks. Cigarettes suck. Not as smart and informed, though. What happened? Oh, what was the question? No, you're good, man. So I want to talk about rich versus poor people here in a second after your question, because rich are spending more and poor people in the middle class have nothing. And yikes. And it seems to be getting worse and nobody gives a shit. Can you smoke Snoop's? Yeah, oh yeah, dude. Snoop Dogg, he already gave up, didn't he? I've been smoking... Word? That's a tough one there. That's like some leather that's so tough. Holy fuck. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's continue. Nothing wrong with some green. Damn right, Shells. Damn right. What's up, Nana? So let's continue. The American economy if America's economy has a prosperous holiday season, which the data suggests we'll have a rich folks to thank for it, which fuck the rich. The top 10% of earners make up half of all consumer spending, according to a report by Moody's, and that's a historic high. Chris Tucker. Yeah, they need to legalize it. Check your question. Where's your question? God damn it, man. It says, can I ask you another question? And then it says another question. And then there's no other question. Chris Tucker, a legend. Yes. And then it won't go down even further. Now my comments aren't working because I checked. Thanks. God damn it, YouTube. Okay, there they go. Yeah, he was on the list. Yeah, I heard that too, Nana. So the top 10% of wage earners account for half of all spending. America's economic growth is now relying on only the well-paid. They account for 49.2% of spending in the second quarter. By comparison, top earners represented 46% of spending and 43% of spending the years before. I did ask. Yeah, I don't know. It's not showing up. At least I can't see it on here. Try again. Thank you, D-Bach. UDAB. What's up, America? The financial situation is as good as it can get, according to the rich. Avoiding the marijuana question. Oh, I think it should be absolutely legalized. For less wealthy Americans, consumer spending is flat and actually decreasing. The 60th percentile spends $2.1 trillion, while the other 40th spends the same. Consumer confidence stands at a low, all-time low since 2022, the peak of it at the COVID crisis in 2020, according to the University of Michigan data. The economic divide that separates the upper incomes from everyone else is a K-shaped economy, meaning that the ultra-wealthy are the only ones gaining, while the middle class and low are actually stagnating and falling behind. And that's the same with me. The low and middle income Americans are facing a cash crunch as the rich have all the cash. Rising stock prices and home values have insulated the wealthy and the affluent. Thank you, Scott. Consumer prices have risen 25% overall since 2020. House prices have risen 55% since 2020. Food prices have risen an average of 61% since 2020. And car prices have risen an average of 40%. I'm out avoiding marijuana. I'm not avoiding it. I already told you I want it legal. I can't see your question. It's not showing it on my end. Anyway, so you'll have to repeat it because it's probably filtering the word out. Jesus Christ. I like to eat it and I like to smoke it. I need to quit coughing though. Look again, I just posted. Okay. All right. I smoke weed and believe when God gave us every seed-bearing herb, it was meant to eat. Always keep a sober mind. Yeah, the eating part of it is more medical, right? And so I believe it has more healing properties when you eat it. Smoking just makes you high, right? So eating it really, I don't think there's any benefit to actually smoking weed other than just feeling fucked up. Kind of like taking Valium for fun. Someone is memeing you. Nice, where at? They always are, I'm sure. I hope they do meme me. I'm going to go on X and look it up. Oh, what are we doing now? Let's see. Hello, America, sup. Well, I hope they do meme me in a good way. Bankers are doing what they want. We've got that showing up. There's my shit showing up that I read the Bible and learn smoking weed is wrong and I smoke. I'm sure it is. Like I said, eating it is probably fantastic. Are you on X? Yeah, I'm on X. Hello, America, sup on X. Yeah, I don't see any memes on there. I just show my basic shit. There's a girl flipping me off. Sounds about right. There is backup account. I don't have a backup account. There's people saying we should hang people. Hey, buddy, when I said free speech, I didn't mean that. And account banned, showing me banned from a long time ago. Yeah, there's me banned at 250K on TikTok. And there's somebody with Hello America sub saying, it's the Jews. That's funny. That's actually funny. But anyway, I'll go on X later. Follow me there. Hello America sup as well. And that's where we're going. Rich people have more money. Consumer prices are as bad as they're going to go. Wealth is growing. Poor people are getting poorer. Rich are getting richer. Retailers and analysts are hanging their hopes on rich people as rich people are being able to travel, buy houses, and enjoy their lives, is upper income shoppers will account for a disproportionate amount of holiday sales. Lower income shoppers will be hunting for discounts. Obviously, we've always been doing that. And top earners owe their fortunes to stocks, while poor people can no longer. This guy needs Jesus. I have Jesus. I've been baptized. What do you want from me?
He just fucking said he smokes, but you.
Yeah, so hold on a second. So you smoke and you know it's wrong. I do it and I need Jesus, even though I've been baptized and Jesus is God. And I believe he died on the cross and rose again from the dead, which means I'll be going to heaven. Correct? So, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, and whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Kind of like the thief on the cross that was there designed to die. Yeah, I can admit I'm wrong too. What's your fucking point here? Think you're better than me? Or are you just trying to take a plank out of my eye, or a speck out of my eye with a plank in yours, Jackson? What do you want from me? Know what I'm saying? So this sounds like you're shit-faced to me. Yeah, sounds like you're drunk to me. So once again, it's good for you, but not for me. So that's why I tell you to go fuck yourself. Because you can't sit there and say, I smoke weed and I know it's wrong, but because I admit it's wrong, it's okay. And because I'm not doing it at you telling me to, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Oh, I know he is. It's just Machiavellian people. I warned you when I came in here. I warned you when I came in here with that Machiavellian attitude. Machiavellian attitude does not work. You have to understand. Have you ever read Machiavelli? Is it The Prince? Is that what it is? Or everybody's just a piece of shit, and unless you're grinding and avoiding people because they're all traitors that'll just destroy your life. That's basically what Machiavelli says. Machiavelli says that you can only trust yourself and a tiny circle of people because everybody else is there to take advantage and destroy you. Now, Machiavelli's right about people on the surface, but he discounts humanity. He believes, because that's people in power. People in power, right? People in power are Machiavellian, but some have humanity. Generally, the poorer you are, the more humane you are. Right? Am I right? So the richer you become and the more wealthy you become and powerful, the less you give a fuck about people because your own power is what dominates. But the poorer you are, the more humanity you have. So that right there, in my opinion, tells me that Machiavelli, well, I'm going to put it in a bowl. I have a plan. It tells me that Machiavelli is correct when it comes to very wealthy and elite individuals, but when it comes to the general populace of the world, humanity exists as a purpose to hold that society together because we're effectively cut off from the very wealthy. And so we can sit here and bitch and complain about the wealthy, but the wealthy holding so much of a percentage of their wealth have self-cut themselves off from the rest of humanity, making what Machiavelli was talking about insulary, and only insulary. And when I mean insulary, does that mean if a peasant becomes very wealthy and powerful, he'll become like that? Yes, because absolute power corrupts absolutely, and we've heard this for years. So I like Machiavelli. I think him and Nietzsche are a little too much. I'm more of a Socrates or Platoist type of philosophy, if you want to call it that. I also like the guy that lived in a barrel, if you remember that guy, that was just like, everything's fucked, you all suck, I don't want anything but my basic shit, suck my dick, I'm living in a barrel. That guy, I can't remember. I was high and got carried away in the kitchen. And so I can't remember exactly what his name was, but that's a good philosophy too. They're saying if top earners stop spending, that the economy will fail. I don't really give a fuck. So now we're going to do an expose while I'm smoking this, and I want to talk about what I believe is going to happen in the world if we do not stop the spread of radical Islam. So over the last 30 years, we have seen a spread and a normalization of Islam at the behest of the sword. Now, we saw a culmination of that with ISIS, if you remember, in Syria, when they were murdering a bunch of people, and we're seeing people being attacked in Sudan, Nigeria, Niger, and other African nations because they're Christians. They're being murdered, killed. The women are being taken as sex slaves and sold. And we have to understand that the world is being destabilized by Islam and is being replaced as far as leadership. Now, you can get into replacement theory. I'm not going to get into that on any platform whatsoever. But when I talk about it, I'm talking about your religion and governments being replaced by Sharia law, taking churches away, turning them into mosques, getting rid of people that are in the country naturally and replacing them because people don't want to be called racist. I.e., I'm going to make the mayor of Yorkshire a Muslim from Pakistan because I don't want to be called a racist. Same with the United States. We're doing with Dearborn, with the council, and all over the planet. But the bottom line here is you're not a racist for not wanting Islam in your fucking world, in your planet. That's stupid. Islam should not be taking over your countries as a naturalization. Your people need to be the ones that are ruling it, not people from Pakistan, India, or whatever, because they may not have the same value system. It seems forced to me. It seems like it's done on purpose. And it seems to me like Islam is a clear and present danger. But my question to you, sorry, my question to you, and please tell me in the comment, what is the potential to be declared a racist? Does that outweigh you looking the other way to people that are being stabbed, shot, killed, raped, and murdered? Would you overlook it in lieu of being called a racist? So, for instance, let's say like in Italy the other day, where 3 migrants kidnapped a man and a woman. She was 18, and they gang raped her in front of him for a full half of a day, mocking him and stuff like that. Is that acceptable to not be called a racist? Is it acceptable for a guy from Afghanistan to shoot 2 National Guardsmen in the head, but look the other way because you don't want to be called a racist? What about those English and French girls that are raped constantly? Is it okay to look the other way because you don't want to be called a racist? How about driving over a Christmas market in Germany year after year? Is that okay? Or you okay because you don't want to be called a racist, right? What about in southern France, in Nice, France, when a guy stole a semi and ran over and killed 83 people, including a bunch of children? Just looking the other way because you and your government don't want to be called a racist. How about the Ariana Grande concert where they bombed a bunch of people? You don't want to be called a racist though, right? Yep. Yeah, we always forget, don't we? How about the bus bombing in England? You don't want to be called a racist, do you? No. How about 9/11? Don't want to be called a racist. This, that. Yeah, Jesus is not racist. He loves all of humanity. So why are Islamic terrorists killing humanity? That's my issue. So China, for all of its flaws, does very well with Islam. I'm just going to leave it at that. So a lot of people are mad at Israel right now. They hate the Jews. I understand I don't want Israel involved in propaganda. I don't want Midas Touch. I don't paying its creators. I don't want Project Esther paying its creators, any of that shit. Nevertheless, I fear Israel's reach less than Islam. I fear Israel's reach less than Islam. And it's because of, I see Israel as a contained threat, even though I believe our government is purchased by AIPAC in a great deal. So I know 2/3 of our government is lobbied by AIPAC. That's a problem to me. But I don't see Israel as a clear and present danger to the United States outside of policy. And I see policy as being suggestive. So when I mean suggestive, it means a lobbyist can suggest. You can always say no to AIPAC. Just because they lobby you doesn't mean you have to say, yeah, I want this for Israel. You don't have to say yes. But when you have things like Hamas that murder a bunch of people and literally put a baby in an oven and murder families on camera, I saw all of it. So it's not like this is hidden. I don't understand why people were protesting for Palestine, because they're the ones that murdered all those people. I watched it happen. They came across the fence in paragliders, raped women on camera, and then shot them in the head while raping them. So they were fucking them and then blew their brains out during. Okay? You have to understand what these fucking pieces of shit did. So that's why I don't support Gaza or Palestine. A lot of people don't want to talk about that, but just go on X and look it up. All the images are still there. They didn't take them down. They're there for you to see. The videos are there to see. It's not fake, it's real. That's what people like Hamas did. That's what Hamas did. That's raw, in your face, and real. You don't want to admit people, well, so taking a woman hostage with blood on her pants because she had been raped so bad. By the way, none of the women that were taken hostage lived, right? You know that, right? I mean, they were all murdered. They were all raped repeatedly and murdered. That's what Hamas does. I don't give a fuck if all of them are turned into beaded glass from fucking thermobaric weapons. I don't give a shit what happens to Hamas. I don't care. It means nothing to me at all. Zero. I have no sympathy whatsoever. Should Israel have done a better job with civilians? Yes. They murdered a bunch of civilians they shouldn't have. So what Israel should have done was moved everybody to one area that was a woman and a child, and then created a corridor from Gaza to Palestine where each and every person was checked by the Israeli military if they had ties or direct links to Hamas, or if they came into facial recognition of any videos during the fucking Hamas attacks. Anybody who was taken into custody. Anybody who wasn't was sent to Palestine, women and children only, and they get to live. The rest, you get turned into fucking beaded glass. I don't care if you turned it from stem to stern into a fucking sandbox. Matters nothing to me if you put resorts on the beach in Gaza and Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are sucking each other, having Mai Tais. I don't give a fuck. More power to you. If you turn it into fucking bulldozed shit. I saw Hamas fighters, Israel poured concrete and suffocated them all. Wonderful. I don't give a fuck. You deserve it all because you attacked those people. You raped women. You murdered them. You killed babies and families. I saw like a room like where I'm in right now, my bedroom, just full of bodies that they had executed. You know what I'm saying? And we're supposed to just forget that shit. So I know what Benjamin Netanyahu did. Look at Gaza now. Benjamin Netanyahu said, destroy everything that moves. Don't let anything survive. Start at one end and just wipe it out. I don't give a fuck. We're done. And that's what they do. If you see what Gaza looks like, I'm mad that they missed a couple spots. I'm pissed that they missed a couple spots. I'm surprised. There are still shit that's like upright. That's unacceptable to me. The fact that some of Gaza is still upright is unacceptable to me. Unacceptable. I don't know why it should be sand. Nothing but sand. Nothing but upturned dirt. Salt it. I don't give a fuck. Hilarious to me if they did it. Thank you, Etsy. Why? Because fuck them. Or Hamas can surrender and they can all be executed in public. It's whichever one you'd like. It's either surrender and we'll execute you and you save your women and children, or this continues. And I know Hamas, they're too much of pussies to give up and surrender and face death. They'd rather sit there and hide behind children, women in refugee camps, hide behind schools. They've been doing it for years. Epstein's a fucking piece of shit. There's a lot about that. I could go like, yikes, you know what I'm saying? So Hamas deserved it. But in my opinion, Hamas's inability and pussification of not surrendering is what's killing their people. That's my take on it. Did Israel kill too many civilians? Yes. Throughout history, though, this was a very light siege when it comes to deaths. So, like, I don't know how to put it. So obviously the most casualties in a war at all in one battle was the Battle of Stalingrad. Well, the Siege of Leningrad, there was 2.5 million casualties. The Siege of Leningrad, 5.5 million, but that was starvation. The Siege of Baghdad in 1258 was 2 million dead during the Mongol invasion. And the Siege of Berlin, World War II, 1.3 million dead. The Siege of Garjuan with the Mongol conquest was 1.2 million dead. The Battle of Kiev, 761,000 dead in World War II. 500,000 Battle of Manila. Changchu, 425,000 dead. Siege of Budapest, 422. Most of these in World War II. And the Battle of Shanghai, 400,000. And it goes on and on. So when we look at the Battle of Gaza, and you say how many... And in Gaza right now, we've got 69,700 Palestinians dead, 170,000 injured. So this is actually quite light as far as history is concerned. Damn right, Stefan. Yeah, I would love to be the snare. So, casualties in Israel, you had 1,200 civilians, give or take, killed. About 650 women raped. 250 taken hostage. And then in this offensive, there have been 465 Israeli soldiers killed in Gaza. Thousands of people remain missing, presumed to be buried under the rubble or completely annihilated. People that were, say, blown up by tank shells. So overall, historically speaking, this is not as bad as people want to make it out to be. I know a lot of people are pussies out there. Sorry, but I would be the green luck bear. I would be the green luck bear. Because I like him. Anyway, so that's about where we're at for the news. talking about, Willis?
You did it.
That is some strong shit. I put a lot of concentrate in that. I am very sorry about that.
It's that hash.
It's the hash I put in there. Damn, like that right there gets you kicked in the dick. Well, I added 2 types of concentrate. I mean, I added. See, I got the Old School Hash Company right there. That's what that is right there. This is the finest hash on the market, of course, is the Old School Hash Company, trading out of Michigan. Old School Hash Company. This right here is Watermelon Gelato. Yeah, this is 56%, give or take, hash percent. I like hash more than weed. I'm not gonna be. I mean, I would rather have hash. My wife is the opposite. She likes vape pens. They don't really get me high anymore.
I have to take a break from them.
We should take like a month off.
Well, it was a thing for a long time.
That's true. They have, haven't they? So we need to take a month on, is what you're saying? Anyway, I wish I had an self-application concentrate. Oh, here, let me see one of those. You talking about the brushes? Check this out. Talking about the brushes like that? Like the concentrate brushes right there? Yeah, that is where it's at right there. This right here is fantastic. We've got 2 of these. I can't remember what this is, but this right here is the concentrate. Next week, and I'm loading up, heading back to Texas. I know. I have a buddy out in New Mexico that grows a shitload of weed. He sent me some. Very good, by the way. But this right here, the concentrate pen is the funsies right there. Problem is with it, if you coat it too much on the outside, it'll melt into it. You get some on your fingers. So you got to watch out for that. But it does stick to your teeth. And then you get that. Why weed? Because I'd rather do that than drink liquor. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do it than liquor. Because people that are drunks are rough out there. They cause some shit. And I've seen a lot of drunks in my life. So let me go into one more run of some other news. The United States allows 2 types of pesticides to be used on romaine lettuce that are forever chemicals, and they're going to legalize 4 more. So the United States government making hemp illegal, but then making pesticides legal. Brilliant, dumb fucks. National Guard shooting suspect is an illegal Afghan brought to the United States under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome. A suspect arrested for the shooting of the National Guard soldiers in D.C. has been identified as an illegal alien from Afghanistan who entered the United States following Joe Biden's disastrous military withdrawal 2021. What's up, America? We know that me. Here you go.
Because he said he smokes every time he watches your live.
Oh, yeah, well, I hope so.
I do too.
Yeah, my wife, we're sitting here, yeah. 2 West Virginia National Guardsmen on high visibility patrol in the nation's capital were ambushed by a piece of shit gunman in a targeted attack near the White House. The suspect, who was also seriously injured, was reportedly uncooperative, but law enforcement revealed that he is one of tens of thousands of Afghanistan nationals brought into the U.S. under Joe Biden's Operation Allies Welcome. Once again, Ramallah Lakanawal, 29, here you go, entered the United States legally in 2021. It just said illegally, and then they just repudiate, whatever. Under humanitarian parole, as part of Biden administration's Operation Allies Welcome in the aftermath of the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. His permission to be in the United States expired in September. Oh, so he was illegal. Is he going to? I need to check that out. Oh, by the way, at the end of this stream, real quick, I want to show you the fire in China. And I want to show you some shit that's going on because that's this was ridiculous. He was in the country illegally. He's been in for about 2 months illegally. Okay, so that makes sense. So why they said that. White House officially warns rogue elements of the CIA are attempting to illegally remove Trump from office. So White House officials are warning that, White House Deputy Chief Stephen Miller has raised alarm on a coordinated nature of sedition that featured 6 Democrats encouraging the military to defy President Trump's orders. Alex Jones breaks down a bunch of shit about it. We don't want to hear him because my wife doesn't like his voice. And the leader of the seditious 6 is being outed as John Brennan, of course. Fucking spook from fucking CIA black hat. Democrats are freaking out over investigations into the seditious 6. And CIA says Trump is as popular. CNN says Trump is as popular as ever as Republicans can stop worrying about the election. I don't believe that's true. I believe Republicans need to watch out still. And of course, the Somali population in Minnesota has said that by the CIA, or according to the Department of Homeland Security and according to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, fraudulently came into the United States 50% of the time. They obviously need to be deported from the United States because fuck them if that's the case. So, real quick, excuse me, I want to show you the fires in China. Oh, there's me calling Harry Sisson an artard. Oh my God, that's funny. Sorry, Harry. About once a week, I say something derogatory to Harry Sisson. So that's always fun. I like to fuck with him. Harry Sisson's being paid by Midas Touch, and he's from Singapore, so he doesn't even have a stake in the game. So real quick, I'm going to turn this off on that. There you go. And I'm going to flip the screen, and I'm going to show you the fires that went on in China and a couple of other fucking things. And then I'll get off here, and my wife is looking hot. Can I see your tits? Not them, me. What? There, okay. Oh my God.
That looks like an AI picture.
That is amazing. Wow. Oh, sorry. Okay, so,
That guy looks AI.
yeah, this guy was screaming on a video that his wife was stuck in the tower. Trump is on Fox News now. But I can't show that, though, can I, on YouTube? Because it'll match copyright. I need to hear what Trump is saying. Here, I have an idea. Hold on a second. I have an idea. Hang on. I got an idea. Not Trump live, Trump live, fuckface. All right, let me turn my music off. Let me see if I can get a live stream here. There. Oh, it's the White House. Okay. You're allowed to show the White House.
The Thanksgiving holiday. 2 members of the National Guard.
All right, hold on. Hang on. Yeah, you're allowed to show government stuff because government stuff is okay, if I recall. Okay. Nice. Here we go. This is Donald Trump talking.
My fellow Americans, earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They've been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all types. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those two members of the
There's so
West
much
Virginia
concentrated
National
fear
Guard
and
and their
stuff.
families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price.
Well, he's gonna be killed.
I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 for those infamous flights that everybody was talking about.
Hellhole.
Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars.
Well, I'm packing a
lost,
bowl.
and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country,
Why
we
does my
don't want
camera
them.
look so bad?
America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight
Oh, yeah.
I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again. And we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military deployed tonight, at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may
Hold
God
that
bless
shit
and
in.
protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
Okay, so that's a statement by Donald Trump. So let me know what you think in that. And then I want to show you the fire in China. So this was the fire in China. That was today, that hundreds are missing. And I think 45 are dead or whatever. And there was a shitload of people that went missing. So I think it was like 5 apartment towers went on fire. I don't know what the fuck exactly. They're still looking at it. I know 3 people were charged with manslaughter. So I don't know why, if they intentionally did it. See, there's the it is, isn't it? Yeah, and I'd like to find better news, but lately the world is on fire. Seems that way. Here's one of the people inside, honey. They're inside their apartment. See that? All the fires on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one of the worst fires I've seen as far as a residential fire. Here's the towers that see it started overnight like this, and then it continued obviously into the morning hours. Yeah, and that's the thing is I remember in England there was an apartment building that went up and a bunch of people died. If you remember that one in England, and it was like, and they're looking at it, but you can see the reason is, if you see this right here, this is bamboo scaffolding. So apparently they're phasing out bamboo scaffolding in China, but they arrested 3 people in China. So I don't know if it was intentional. This guy right here, I remember that. He said his wife was inside and she couldn't come out. So that was hair raising. And then, of course, a firefighter died. They said that none of this shit was in code either, I guess, which, why does that not fucking surprise me at all? There's the aftermath. You can see these 2 here are completely fucked. This got a little, but the 2 on the right. Funny thing is, they moved people in while they were still building the fucking things. Isn't that a little, you know what I'm saying? And then here's the fires at night. So, and of course, as you know, it burns up, obviously. So you're fucked completely there. And see, that's bamboo scaffolding. So yeah, that's straight bamboo scaffolding, as weird as that is. God damn, this thing is like, can you fucking get it going there? Jesus Christ. So that's the buildings on fire. There's the guy that was here. This is pretty rough right here. So you're just sitting there watching your loved ones potentially burn in a fire. Maybe see the scaffolding burning. So I guess that's probably a reason why not to use that. I saw this one earlier. I have a video of this. So that's like, that is surreal as fuck looking right there. That is not good at all. There they go. That is goddamn. You know what I mean? That is not Belgium airport that China made. And the more fucked up thing is, the same day in China this happened, there's another bridge. Like, here's Associated Press. And so AP has some okay footage of this. But everything there is sensationalized, of course, because it's the Associated Press. And I don't respect them at all. So it's way more than 13 people dead now. Obviously, it's like 40 or 50 dead. I know, Nana, it's terrible. And so, yeah, and then here's, of course, fire not caused by bamboo, instead from China, was not the fireproof standard. Well, okay then. So people are speculating. You have people in homeless encampments now, and Winnie the Pooh is still running China. And then, damn, I didn't see that one. So that's pretty bad. And that's pretty much the news for today. Yeah, smoke them if you got them, I guess, right? So, about the Podesta plan, oh god. Fucking Fazzle Drip or whatever the fuck. Yeah, no thanks. That dude's a fucking piece of shit, isn't he? Yeah, that fire is that is some rough shit. That is some definite rough shit. Anyway, so that's that. That's the news for today. Subscribe to me here on YouTube. I guess follow me on TikTok, Hello America Sup over there, and the American Unity Party over there. I've got a lot of videos to make. I just haven't done them because I don't know what the fuck. I was sitting here with the kid today, so. But yeah, that's that. So, yeah, that was fun, I guess. Follow me here, subscribe here. 44 dead, 280 missing. Yeah, and I heard there's homeless shelters opening up for them, and people are giving food out there, so at least somebody's trying. But anyway, yeah, so that's it. Happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to subscribe here. Join my memberships. I've got like 3 different tiers, I think, don't I? 4 different tiers of memberships, all the way up to Sup America Pope. So that's the highest. Gift if you got it. And I have a merch store somewhere on my channel. I don't know. It's there. And follow me on TikTok, even though TikTok sucks dick. So that's where we're at. And that's the news. Sorry it was moderately depressing. That's what happens. And I guess we'll probably go live on TikTok tomorrow and then come over here just like we did today and try to get people over there and over here. And eventually YouTube will be better than TikTok, and I'll tell TikTok to fuck themselves. And excellent. And subscribe to me, memberships, gift, and what's the other thing called? Merch store, if you can find it on there. And if you don't like me, mute me or whatever and go fuck yourself. And by the way, I put up a Christmas tree. So I make some of my own music. You can see some. I've put very little up here on my channel, but you can check it out here on my page. I have meditation music and some jazz, and I'm trying to expand just for the fuck of it, so you can check that out. But I'm thinking about making Christmas music, and I have a badass Christmas tree. I'll show you in a video when I make them and post them on here, and it is fucking great, don't you think? Yeah, and if you don't like me, block me and go fuck yourself. And if you would like, I can do Christmas music and have like an hour long and just film the tree. I used to do that all the time, didn't I? Back in the day. And I would love to do it again and just have like a 2-hour repeat of Christmas music when I'm not feeling like doing shit, because sometimes I get sick of doing it. But whatever, it's watch time and engagement and CTR. And I know that's what YouTube gives a fuck about. I got to have Mr. Beast style thumbnails, and God knows I don't do that. But whatever, because I'm just here. So if you don't like me, block me and mute me and go fuck yourself. And if you like me, subscribe and become a member and all that stuff. And if you're middle of the road, still subscribe and then just kind of fuck off, I guess, and come at your leisure. So see you later, bye. And yeah.